Hi guys, hope you are all doing well. So today I'm going to show you how you can deploy in Kubernetes and get one public endpoint. So I'm using Katacoda. It's free. You get one master node, one worker node. So today we'll be deploying Nginx server, and we'll make one public endpoint to access the data in that server. So let's check what are the resources we have. So kubectl get all. Okay, so we have one service in Kubernetes. So let's deploy one Nginx server. So kubectl create deployment. Let's name it Nginx only. The image will be using Nginx. So it will create a deployment named Nginx, and it will be using the image of Nginx. Okay, so you can see the deployment is created. Let's check it. kubectl get all. Okay, so you can see, okay, so one pod is created, it's running, and the deployment that we created, and one replica set. Okay, so let's clear it. Now let's make the replica to 3. So we need to scale the number of pods basically. So kubectl scale. So we want to scale the deployment. Actually we want to make 3 pods. Scale. So what we want to scale? Deployment, obviously. Deployment. And the name of the deployment was Nginx. And number of replicas we want, let's make it 3. So we want to scale the deployment to 3. Okay, it's scaled. Let's check it. kubectl get all. So it should be 3 pods should be created. Okay, so you can see 3 pods are running actually in the replica sets. Yes, 3. Now we have created 3 Nginx server. Okay, now what we want to do, we want to make it public. So you can all, so there are different services like cluster IP, NodePort, load balancer. So to expose one particular port to public, you can use either NodePort or load balancer. You can read more about them on internet. So anyway, we have 3 ports. So basically if we expose one public port, so it will basically load balance between the 3 ports. We can also check that. We will check that shortly. So let's expose the port 80. So kubectl, we want to expose the Nginx, sorry, the deployment named Nginx. Now we want to stick a service in front of this deployment. So let's open the port 80 of that service. So port, so we opened a port, sorry, this space, we opened a port 80 of that service, and what we want to target. So the servers are running on port 80, so the target port will be, so the Nginx servers are running on port 80. So this port 80 of the service will target the port 80 of that the ports that are running. Okay, and the default type of this service is actually cluster IP, and cluster IP is used for internal communication between the pods. So it is internal, so we can't access externally. So for externally, I have already told we need NodePort or load balancer. So let's create a NodePort. So type will be NodePort. Okay, so we have created a service. So it will create a service. Actually, we're basically exposing the 8 target port, that is the port of the pods, port 80 to the port 80, that is the port of the service, and it will in turn create on public port for us. We can check that. Okay, so let's check it. kubectl get all. So you can see one service is created named Nginx. So the service has a open port 80 that is targeting to the port 80 of the ports, and it has a public port 32063. So let's copy it. Now we can access that Nginx server. So let's go to view port to select port to view on host 1. Excuse me. So this is host 1. Okay, so let's paste the port. So you can see the Nginx servers is running, the series servers are running, and you can check. Let's the pod basically. So you can see kubectl describe. Let's check any of the one pod. So you can see the details of that particular pod. Okay, so now let's do one thing. What we can do is basically this service named Nginx. So that has created on port public, so publicly accessible. So when we are actually accessing that particular port, so this URL is basically pointing to the any of the entry point of that particular cluster. So whenever we are making one request to that 32063, it is forwarding that request to any of the three ports basically. So actually we can see the details. So let's clear a little bit. kubectl get all. So we want all the details. So we can make it a little bit bigger so that we can see. You can see these are the IPs. So let's check the particular service. We can see it is pointing to that particular services. kubectl get describe. So let's check that service. So you can see these are the endpoints. So these are the endpoints as I discussed. So this is 10.244.1.6. so this one. So actually whenever there is a request to that port, it is forwarding the request to any of the one of these IPs. Okay, so now what we can do, one interesting thing we can do, we can actually modify the data of the servers Nginx servers, so that we can see how it is load balancing between the three servers. So we will change the data, because now when we see the data is same in all the 3 servers. So let's change the data. So let's get the name of this node, pods. So kubectl get pod. So these are the pods. So actually we can enter into the bash each of in each of these pods. So let's do that. We want to execute interactive terminal to the this one pod. I forgot the notation like this. So this is the first one, and I'm going to stop looking for any option and I'm going to execute bash. Okay, so we are into the bash of this particular pod. So you can see ls. Okay, so we want to get the location where the HTML file is stored. So I have already searched in the internet and I think it is stored in somewhere user I think user then share. Let's check it. User share, sorry, user share, you can see this Nginx is there. User share Nginx HTML. Okay, so this one is the HTML file. That is basically, you can see here, this is the file. You can see actually. So you can see this one is the HTML file. If you see this page, the Nginx server is successfully installed. So if you see this page, this is successfully installed. Okay, so we want to modify the data here. So this is our intention. Okay, so let's clear it a little bit. So we want to create our own index.html. So we want to get copy index.html. So we want to make our own file. So let's call it hello from app1. And create a file index.html. Okay, so now we can see the data of that index.html is hello from app1. So now we will exit from that particular pod. So we are out of this pod. Okay, so let's make change in the second pod. So kubectl get all, let's get only the pods. So we make the changes 5lcbx, so this one. So let's go to inside into that particular pod. So kubectl execute interactive terminal. The name of the pod is, let's check this one. Stop for any options and just execute bash. Okay, so we know now it is inside user, and then I think share, and then I think Nginx, then I think HTML. So same will do the same. Hello from app2 index.html. Okay, so let's check the content. Hello from app2. Okay, so now we have modified the content of this pod and this pod, and this is already the default, so we can basically differentiate between the three now. Okay, so now when we will request that particular service, so let's clear up a little bit. Oops. Oh shit, caps lock it down. Clear kubectl get all. Let's get all the resources. So when we'll request this service NodePort, so now we'll request this port, so it will basically choose any of these three servers. So now the content is different in all the three servers, so we can check that it is load balancing. This NodePort is load balancing basically. So this is a moment of truth. Okay, so this is hello from app1. Okay, let's check this one. Okay, this is also hello from app1. Let's delete it. Let's which is the port now? 32063. View its report. Okay, so now we can see this is hello from app1. Okay, now we can see this is hello from app2. Hopefully we can get the default one also. This is again app1, so you can see it is load balancing basically. Again app2. Okay, okay, this is app2. I hope we can get the default in this video. I don't know. You can see the notice it just created one URL 32063. This is the same as this port, so let's create multiple requests. Give me the default one. Give me the default one. Shit. Why am I not getting the default one? Okay, let's delete the two pods, then it will be forced to give the third one. So kubectl delete. Okay, but I think then it will try to create another two pods, but it will take time. So in that meantime we should get that default one, that default nginx index.html. so let's delete quickly. What happened? Get pod. Okay, so this one we are not getting actually, but I have to force. Okay, so finally we have got the third one also, but let's refresh it. Okay, so you can see this is load balancing basically. So thank you all.